This meeting is being recorded.
We spent a lot of time in that building there with the CIO roundtable and with Debbie. So, yeah, appreciate you joining. We'll make sure we get you set up. Anybody else first time? Okay, we will get started then today. Well, before we get started, Bettina, who do we have on the schedule for next week's speaker?
Well, I have Babar Bashi who's ready to go if you guys want him. I think we were gonna kind of discuss it. He's actually the co-founder of a group in Dallas called Dallas AI, and they meet like monthly to talk about AI programs or ideas, and they have quite a bit of activity. He's also working at IBM as a principal for AI customer success. And I literally just talked, he was going to get me a few slides, which he hasn't quite gotten to yet, but he said he could still do next week or the end of the month, Friday. And he's going to talk about AI for productivity, various ways to interact with AI models. He was going to give some good examples, and then he has some some suggestions of what to watch out for. And he was also going to give some real examples of what they're doing at IBM. So I thought, if that's of interest, I can lock him in, or if, I don't know if Sean has somebody else. I've been trying to get a couple other people. I have a couple other people in mind, but I haven't quite locked them in yet.
Yeah, I'm just driving back from a lunch that I just had, and the person that I just had could potentially also be one of the speakers. He has another AI platform that I think could be very interesting. I'm going to have a demo personally of that next week, and then we'll disseminate kind of thoughts on that once I have them. He is also on a lot of boards and what have you. And you guys met Rachel, who stayed for AI SIG. He's on the.
Okay, well, you're cutting out, Sean. I think we lost Sean.
Okay.
So if we lost Sean, Bettina, will you and Sean work together this afternoon and maybe lock up a speaker? If it's Babar Bachi, that would be great. You know, if he's ready to go on next Friday, let's lock him up, and then we'll send out the information to everybody, let them know who our AI speaker is for next week.
And there's also listed in the Trello that Professor Burton Earnshaw. I'm not sure who had suggested him.
Okay, well we'll get one locked up.
Mr. Dorman, I forgot his first name, begins with a G. G. Dorman said had suggested him, so we could reach out to him about Professor Burton Earnshaw.
Talking about Greg?
Yes, Greg Dorman. I'm sorry, so he must have put in Professor Burton Earnshaw, who's recursion machine learning fellow. So we can check with Greg and see if he's still interested in speaking.
John, are you back?
Good.
You're on mute. Still on mute, Sean. If we can't hear you, all right. Well, Bettina, if you and Sean would lock up speaker for next week, we'll get that sent out.
Okay, sounds like a plan.
So normally on these off weeks, for those of you who are new, that we don't have a speaker, we usually go over AI news, latest and greatest that people have heard of this week, and we are going to have a demo. So I will do a quick demo, and usually the demo is just something that we have worked on throughout the week or we came across. It doesn't have to be too elaborate. It might be very basic for some people and more elaborate for other people, but this will be the first one. So we'll try it and it'll get everybody involved. So what we're going to try to do is rotate through everybody in the AI SIG on these off weeks, and we'll assign you to do a demo on this day. We'll make sure that you can make it on that Friday, and then just have a quick little demo on something AI, just to get everybody involved and expose us all to something new. I know a lot of you are doing AI things within your work, and if that's applicable, then great, have a little demo on that. So today, I thought I would give a demo on ChatGPT's tasks. Have any or all of you been exposed to ChatGPT's tasks?
I've only heard about it.
Got a yes from Sean, and so we'll go through and I'll see if I can share my screen here. And okay, give me a sec to share the screen. Okay, you see my screen?
Got it? Yes.
Okay, great. So everybody is familiar with this browser interface, hopefully by now. This is just ChatGPT. If you go within ChatGPT, you can come here and either, if you have, I have Plus, I do not have the Pro version, I have Plus. And I think right now, since it's in beta, it requires the paid version. But you can come down to GPT 4.0 with scheduled tasks. And if you select on that, then you can see in the top left here, we are now in the tasks chat GPT. You can also go to your account over on the right-hand side, click on that, and you can see tasks right here. If you select tasks from here, it lists all your tasks that you have created. If you haven't created any tasks, it'll simply be back to that original one. For example, I'll show you how to create a task, but I created a task called right here. I'll do it again so you can see. Let me copy this. I'm just going to go back to main screen. But I look down the bottom here. I created a task to say, search for the cheapest gas prices in South Jordan and show how these prices compare to the U.S. national average. Show the address of the gas stations found, and do this daily at 8 o'clock a.m. And so once you set that up, I can either run it right here, right now, and you can see it running at the bottom here, coming up with the cheapest prices. There's a Sam's Club on Jordan Gateway and a Costco, price $2.78, $2.81. Daily average is $3. And it'll run daily at whatever time I say, and then it sends an email to your email address you have under your account, like this right here. One of them I have set up, it talks about, give me the latest AI news. And it'll send me an email. You can view the message by just clicking on it. It goes back to your account and shows you all the things that I've run. Let me go back to all of them that I've created. If you have the Plus version, the Plus version, you can create up to 10, I believe, 10 scheduled tasks. And some of these can get pretty elaborate, like summarize the latest AI news, like I said. I have one set up, said, send me an Azure how-to tip daily. Gives me a tip, goes on Azure. Let me go back to that one. If I, just to show you, if I go to edit that, on the Azure how to. Better slow down. Okay, Azure how to edit. Tell me an interesting how-to tip regarding Microsoft Azure's cloud environment. I have that running every day at 9 a.m. If I do want to run it right now, instead of waiting until 9 a.m., I can, but have an email every morning that just comes up and says a brand new tip. So it creates something brand new for me. Like this
I have
one.
a question for you, Mike.
Yes.
So when it's sending you those, is it does it vary every day? Like it's not deterministic in its style, right? It's like you've prompted it. It's like you've manually gone in and prompted it at that time and had it output to email. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
So your table could look different for gas prices every day just because it could have chosen that path.
Correct.
Okay.
Yesterday, when I ran it, I had 3 gas stations listed. This time it only showed 2. This morning's Azure.
You could, of course, prompt it and specify specific numbers and try to make that more consistent if you wanted to, but by and large, it's the same sort of experience you have. Cool. Thank you.
Yes. And what's interesting is it goes out and checks the web. This Azure tip this morning was different than the Azure tip right now that I just reran. I've seen people create a task to show me any flash sale going on in my area for whatever product and notify me, stuff like that. And so it'll automate these things for you. Maybe give me a daily recipe under this specific diet that I'm trying to do daily. Show me a schedule of what, give me a new menu option every day, stuff like that. It'll go and recreate this for you based on whatever detail. The more detail you give it, the better output it will be. One caveat that I wanted to show is I did have, let me go back to maybe this. One of the scheduled tasks I had was to go through all my Outlook calendars and give me a summary of my meetings for that day, because I have a personal Outlook calendar, I have a work Outlook calendar, and I also said include my Proton calendar, which is another personal email calendar that sometimes I get events to. Summarize all those events and send me an email daily on what those would be. And I took a screenshot of that. And so let me see if I put that right here. So I just copied and pasted it here in my PowerPoint.
No,
but
that doesn't look good. No, go ahead.
Rob, did you say something?
No, sorry about that.
Oh, that's right. So can you see this output from all of my Outlook calendars and my Proton calendars for today's events that it sent me? Kind of cool. The problem is not a single one of these is correct. I do not have any meetings but my A meeting today. And I don't know who Alex is. And I have no doctor appointment today.
So you see the hallucination rate on the tasks is much higher than on the other?
I don't know. This was the only one that I had problems with, but I wanted to see if it really did it. When I went to look at the sources, it did show a bunch of APIs that can allow this to connect to one of my calendars, like the Proton calendar. But what's really cool that this does show you the sources where it got all this information. Like you go down and click right here, the gas station, it'll tell you where it found all this information. And here's all the sources on the right. If you want to know, where it got the recipes, click on sources, it'll show on the right. So just be aware of that. And then I've seen too where people are very specific. Act like you are Warren Buffett and give me 10 ways to solve the well, give me some stock picks for today or something like that, and give me some suggestions. Or you can say, send me an email every time this stock hits this price. Any type of task like that, you can go in and set up. And it does look like there's a lot of really cool functionality built into it. And I've just started to messing with it this week, but I want to just expose everyone to it and then just kind of get your feedback next week if anybody has tested or tried it and found some good things or bad things. But we can.
So when you schedule stuff with this particular, realize it's in beta and they're trying to figure out, how to scale it and price it and whatever else, but do you get like 10 runs per day, or can your task check? How often can a task check? If you're having it watch a stock, it may not be as it's kind of tricky if it checks it once a day.
Yeah, good question, Matt. So I did you can create 10 tasks. Each task can run as many times a day as you want it to. I told it to give me the latest AI news hourly as one of my tasks. It ran it hourly. What I did notice is there were some things that were repeated the next hour. So it was still the latest news, apparently. But you can run one task hourly and have 10 of those tasks set up. So you can see that it gave me the latest news. I click on sources over on the right. It says where I got all this news from.
But so is hourly is the fastest or the closest? That's as often as a individual task can run.
Let's see.
I'm just curious. It's.
So we're going to edit the summarized latest AI news. After today, I did come in and switch this to daily, but you can say customize. One of the options when creating a task is instead of typing in your request, you can actually just say it. And so I wonder if that would create something even more often. So if you come down here and I say, create a task to show me ice cream prices every 15 minutes. Never try a real live demo, remember?
You probably have to turn off you have to unhook your mic from Zoom, and because your mic is conduited into Zoom right now. Like go mute on Zoom and then it'll probably let you do it.
I'll just type it.
Okay.
Create a task to show me ice cream prices in I better be specific or else it'll show me too many. Right, create a task to show me lowest ice cream prices in South Jordan, Utah, and run every 15 minutes. It says it's creating a task. Sure, I'll check every 15 minutes, it says.
Cool.
So then if I go in there, see my list of tasks, the top one, if I go to edit it,
Yeah, it's showing it. It's showing it those are 15-minute intervals. That's pretty cool.
All right. Any other questions?
Have you tried any complex tasks with it yet? Like, tell me all of the chocolate ice cream that's non-dairy based. No, not trying to to trip you up. Just curious if you've tried anything more complicated and how did it do? Was it?
I saw some demos of some more complicated things, but personally, I have not tried it myself. There was even, you can create a task to create prompts for you that will help you lose weight or help you learn Spanish, stuff like that. So you might not know the best prompt to give it, but it will know the best prompt to give itself. So create a daily prompt for you to help you learn whatever. And I did see also too, like create a wave file with a phrase in Spanish and then the same phrase in English right after it that I can run every morning to help me learn Spanish. Stuff like that. So there are some more complicated ones that you can think of that I haven't tried yet.
Interesting.
But I'm sure you guys can create some really cool ones, and next time we talk, you can demo them for us.
I'm interested to see if you can leverage your own GPTs that you made. You know, if you could schedule your own GPT at a certain time, pulling certain information.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Awesome.
You should try that, Rob, and next time we have a demo, you can demo it for us.
Yeah, sure.
Great. So February 21st, Bettina, let's get down the schedule. We got Rob for the demo.
Okay, I love it.
Thanks, Rob. All right.
Okay, my favorite GPT right now, and it's only for personal use, is the travel guide. Has anyone tried that one? We're planning a trip to Europe, and I'm just like, it's giving me like all this whole itinerary to go to like Berlin, and all the different sites to see, and the restaurants to eat at, and the hotels to stay at. It's like perfect. It's actually pretty handy.
Oh, that is cool.
And are you finding the information's pretty up to date and everything, or?
Yeah, it is, because I've been there and I have cousins there, so I'm looking at it. It's like it's got great ideas.
Nice.
In fact, one of the best hotels I would have suggested, it's listed to pick that one for me. Have you guys looked at where it says explore GPTs? That's where it's got that really, they keep adding more there. It's really cool.
Yeah, there are a lot of GPTs there.
Yeah.
Sean, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the. I mean, these education ones. I mean, it's got to be great for kids too.
Yeah, I was just saying there's over 300,000, I think, ones to choose from. So you have to be pretty specific on exactly what, what does it look like? What's the icon? What's the name of it? Because there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it called?
The one I was using, a travel guide.
Okay.
It's under lifestyle.
It's under lifestyle for you. I don't know if it is for everyone. That's what I was just saying. It's kind of.
Yeah, I pay the $20 a month for it. So.
Yeah. And I put this in the chat. If any of you have a prompt that you'd like to try on the pro version for deep research, I do have deep research, so we could run something and I can show you the results. I did one earlier today. It created, well, I did several today. It created a 16-page, all research-backed document from one quote, one prompt. It went out and searched 24 things, opening up, scanning all of websites, looking through PDFs. It's pretty impressive.
Does anyone else have the pro version except Sean?
And I also could, I have Operator because of that as well.
So what's your login and password, Sean?
Just put it in the chat.
Yep. Just ask ChatGPT, it'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, that deep research is really cool. You have to have the pro version, but I've seen demos where you ask ChatGPT something, you ask the deep research the exact same thing, and it will just say thinking, and come back with a much more elaborate PhD research level answer, which is
Yeah,
quite
like
cool.
I said, I mean, I can run something if you'd like, if any of you have any deep questions or researchy things, because it's pretty amazing. So, or I can do that any of the weeks, as far as that part goes. It's pretty cool.
Great. I think, sure a couple of us will take you up on it once we come across something. All right.
Yeah, it's better than spending the money. I don't know that I'm going to keep it from now on, so it has to be within a month.
Good to know. Yeah, are you finding that you don't need the pro options very often?
Actually, I'm using it more than I thought. So I probably I don't know if I'll keep it or not. I'm not sure my wife knows I spent the money yet. So we'll see.
Well, I'd be expensing that to Rob.
Yeah, I will expense it to Rob.
Did you guys hear on the tech news how the deep search is funneling all the information from your machine back to China? The visit was outlawed on government machines.
You're talking about DeepSeek, not Deep.
DeepSeek.
You're not talking about what? You're not talking OpenAI. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
That's all in their bylaws. All your information will be stolen and used against you in the court of China.
And saved on their servers in China, including your keystrokes.
But that's only if you use it from their website. Why wouldn't you just run it from Olama? I mean, it's available. The R1 model, you can pull down an Olama and run it on a gaming desktop and it works just fine. It's pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's also on Perplexity. But the interesting thing, if you read the bylaws, if you the terms and conditions of that is that you're supposed to actually still send everything back to China, which is kind of funny because no one's doing that. But yeah,
I heard that too, Matt. That when you pull it down like that locally and run it, you're okay. But I haven't.
Well, in theory, I mean, I guess I don't understand how. So the mobile apps and the app versions of it, of course, can have functionality outside the model itself. But if you run it inside Olama, I don't know. I mean, it would have to subvert Olama. It's just treated like any other model, I would guess. I've been tempted to bring it down and stick it on a segment that I can sniff and run some stuff through to see exactly if it's sending anything out, what it's sending, what it's checking on, or that sort of thing. But I don't know if it's worth the effort, at least through Olama, which is, if you go out to the Olama models list, it is I think the top downloaded model right now, the DeepSeek R1.
Yeah. The answer to your question is, why would you? Because people don't know, and that's why they do.
Well, so have any of you read?
No.
Highly recommended. No, really, these are two Princeton CS professors. One of them is the director of policy there. You can read the first 30 pages for free. The title is a little bit harsh because they are not, I mean, they're not naysayers, but they talk about some of the real challenges in trying to communicate this. If you just Google it or go to aisnakeoil.com, you can read the first 30 pages right there, and you'll be hooked. It's written. I like it because it's actually given me some good examples to help explain to other people how generative AI is working, and then some of the challenges with it. One of them, before teaching at Princeton, was on the Facebook AI team for content moderation. So one of their theses of the book is that AI will never be good at content moderation.
I just got it on Audible, so thank you.
I'll
So
be interested to hear what you all think of it, because I again, the title is a little bit harsh because they're not saying that AI is, but they're saying there are so much when every vendor now is going to just rebrand their stuff or make claims that are unrealistic. Anyway, I'm interested to hear people's thoughts.
Well, and we're all on the same page, right? That we're in the Gartner hype cycle. You know, we're reaching that peak where everything AI can do everything, and so I appreciate that somebody's putting books together that really, when all of this crashes and comes back to the actual productivity side of it, does everyone know the curve I'm talking about? I don't want to.
Yes, but funny you mention it, because on one of the pages here they talk about the Gartner hype cycle because they say AI is different. It's really multiple hype cycles. But yes, I agree with you.
There's big ones and little ones embedded, and there's it's
Yep.
all of us who lived through the .com era was like, I literally saw companies sell because their name was .com.
Yeah.
They sold for millions of dollars in 1999 or whatever. It was just ridiculous, or 19 earlier than that. But the that's a good recommendation. I'll check it out too, because
They talk about hype in here, but say that AI is one of the things. The flaws in Gartner hype cycle is that it doesn't account for the technologies that never come out of the trough of disillusionment. And lots of AI is coming out of the trough of disillusionment, but some of it doesn't.
Right.
Anyway, it's cool. Yes, it's, and the .com, the hyping of some of this stuff gets a little out of control sometimes.
No, I've seen people arguing that the things it can do, but none of them really address, okay, is this an augmentation? Is this something that you're augmenting people's skills? Are you replacing, or is there something entirely new you're creating? And it all gets globbed together to it's changing the world, which it is. But that means a lot. That's a broad statement, and what does it actually mean? That's the problems we're here trying to solve in this group too. Is like, okay, what does it actually mean in a practical level?
How do we operationalize whatever, beyond the new type that, that GPT-4 can pass the bar exam? What does that actually mean? Right? How do you make that into a product? How does your business benefit?
If you have an army of C- interns via AI, what can you actually do with that? No, I think I even heard it here. It was somebody mentioned that it's cheap to experiment, expensive to implement, both from a time and cost perspective.
Yeah.
And I share that with people all the time. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of hype, so I'll be curious to check out the book too. Is what can you actually do with it? What are the things? I love to try and figure out the things we couldn't do before that we can do now. because I don't see a lot of people going after that.
UFO of God.
Shit.
The extraordinary true story of Chris Letson. Written by Chris
Somebody's already playing the book.
Yeah, I hit it.
Well,
That's
I just got the lowest ice cream prices in South Jordan emailed to me. So, you
Who
know,
is it?
Cold Stone on Redwood Road, Nelson's
Mm.
Frozen Custard on South Jordan Parkway, and Culver's of South Jordan.
So our takeaway from the meeting is one of us takes each one and
Yes.
orders the same thing and finds out how accurate it was.
Yeah.
Do that.
No, I think out of the meeting today, we got, you know, besides demos being good, we could do book reports on AI would be good too. And
Yeah,
book
I'm
report
thinking
suggestions.
maybe in 2 weeks, and we go over that book, and hopefully everybody has an assignment to read or listen to that book in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And
it'd be
then-
fascinating to know to know everyone's thoughts on it, because
I'd love to hear that.
and I shared it and actually recommended it to to non-technical people as well. It goes into a little bit of the technical stuff. If you're real technical, or if you have a penchant for math, I don't know if any of you have ever read Stephen Wolfram.
No.
This one is actually pretty decent because there's a blog post where he summarizes a big chunk of this book. It's not a long book, it's 90 pages. But he literally goes into the math of diffusion and now this was an early book. This is a year old, meaning it's a dinosaur in terms of, whereas the snake oil book just came out in September or October.
Hey, Guy, I know you're on mute, but what is the math book, the math behind AI models that you suggested a few weeks ago? Looks like he's on mute. Yeah. Guy Harding, who's on the call also, Matt, had a really cool book regarding the math behind the
Right.
LLMs.
But did his AI store the name somewhere for him to remember right now?
It's Why Machines Learn by Anil Ananthaswamy. That it covers, yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah, Why Machines Learn.
Yep.
I want to have a last name of Swami. I think that
Pretty cool name.
So Sean, maybe we should ask your research AI. This is one of the questions in the Wolfram book that he couldn't get. He was using GPT-3.5, but he could not get an answer to how many calories there are in a cubic light year of ice cream. He said it made stuff up. It just couldn't do it. So he's an advocate for like the agentic stuff where you have a GPT talk to Wolfram Alpha engine, for example, which he also stands to benefit from. But
that's the weirdest question. How many
calories are in a cubic light year of ice cream?
But that's what
Wolfram Alpha is perfect for that.
That it is, because it'll calculate how many golf balls fit into a school bus.
Yes.
I mean, it's that type of math. It's silly.
Well, his argument in this book, and actually this is again, he was working from GPT 3.5, but is very similar. Well, a lot of the challenges he's addressing are being overcome, or the agentic stuff that can actually talk between systems. Because you remember how bad AI was at, like, GPT 3.5 is terrible at math. And none of them can count how many R's are in the word strawberries still.
Yeah, they can.
Only because they've been aligned to do it. The learning model. I think there's a flaw in the model that makes them do that.
All right, just a sec. Let's try it. How many calories in a cubic light year of ice cream? All right. It's going to ask clarifying questions.
Can we see? Are you able to share your screen? I'm just curious. I don't have a $200.
Sure. All right.
All right.
All right. So
Some good
what
clarifying questions.
type of ice cream?
Vanilla, average.
Yeah, average vanilla.
All right. All right. Density.
Average is good.
In other words, is it cheap like boxed ice cream or good stuff?
Calorie content.
200 calories per gram, per 100 grams.
Okay.
That density seems awfully high to me, but
Well,
Stuff like Haagen-Dazs or
I
something.
like dense ice cream. So, all right. So we'll
That's
hit
some
go.
good ice cream if it's for a cubic meter is 540.
that's like 1,000 pounds of ice cream in a 9 by 9 by 9. Yeah, a
I
lot of
bet
ice
it
cream.
is.
Probably.
All right. So it's just starting.
Actually, cubic meters 3 by 3 by 3, right? Yeah.
So I touched this box here, the starting research. And
How
so
big is a
you'll
light year?
So now I'm calculating total calories in a cubic light year, referencing the values we cited, mapping out the U.S. standard for ice cream density required the weight of gallons and density approximately 540.
Look at it, 12 gram alpha.
I'm mapping out Reddit nutritional sites, citing them valuables. He's reading Reddit. Read Earth is
Eat this much.
much.com or eat this much. Okay. Searching ice cream calorie content.
Light year conversion. There you go. The density of cheap ice cream.
If ChatGPT stops working for everyone because it's working on this problem, no, you did it.
Calculate the last digit of
Determining the
pi.
volume, raising 9.4 to the power of 3, then multiplying by 10 to the 45th power, estimating approximately 8 to 1042nd m cubed.
I'm still thinking.
Oh yeah, this goes from 5 to 30 minutes.
Wow.
That's not a short process. That's, yeah, I mean, although this was short. All right. So citing all the different sources. I think it did it, but you know, who might have known? Calories.
It did actually. I'm looking. Well, it's within the right order of magnitude from what Wolfram Alpha got. So that's pretty good.
So there you go. Deep research, baby.
Impressive.
Wow. That number is big.
9 septillion kilocalories. He's pretty good.
That's like more calories than there are atoms in the universe.
Right.
Well, thinking about that, that would make sense, seeing that in space there aren't very many atoms.
Right. That's impressive. That's. So it has citations all the way through there, right? I see the.
Yeah, it does.
The links out to citations, which are awesome, and that's powerful.
Yeah, that's a silly one. But so like this is one that was just asked for me to run for an instance. So you get the idea of the out. So this is risk management analysis of Merck's drug discovery pipeline, scientific risks in drug discovery, regulation risks, regulatory risks, financial risks, operational, case studies, best practices.
What was the prompt for this one?
This one
If you can
was
share.
risk management analysis for drug discovery, and then it asked these clarifying questions.
Okay.
Are you focusing on specific phases? So I said all phases. Do you want an industry? That's why I said specific company, Merck. All risk types and best practices. You know, and that's what these are. And you can tell this is like 10 pages of as a response. You know, that gives you an idea. And it's again, if you look close, there's, you know, here's one. It is cited throughout. Yeah, anyway. Well, I don't see that many sites in this particular one, but there's another one, Merck.com here. And here's Merck again here. Yeah, anyway, you get the idea, and there's this library there for that. So it's a whole different world for researchers. You're talking PhD level research done in 5 minutes to 30 minutes.
This question's going to show my ignorance, but if you answered those follow-up questions in the wrong order, would it be able to figure it out still?
I don't know. I would think so.
Yeah, as long as you said what you were answering.
Yeah, but I really don't that much. I said all phases, comma, specific company, Merck. I would think yes, from the way that, because I say best practices and it's talking about practices, risk types, it's talking about risk types in the company. Yes, it would, in my opinion.
Yeah,
You've answered them in order, right? So
I did.
In some cases, the answer might apply to more than one question.
Sure. Yeah, sure, it may. Let's see, like this one. It's interesting. I met with the company earlier and just going, okay, looking at the brief, and I just was, you know, look, this is just information on a company that I was talking to, and what we do within them and how we might be able to help them, kind of a thing. So, yeah, super fun.
Hey, Sean, have you came across, or has anybody came across any type of prompt within deep research on generating data, research data? I know there have been some claims that some drug companies are actually using GPTs and large language models to actually create this data instead of spending 3 years doing placebo versus a research, you know, actual data on humans. That you can say, if you prompt it right and say, based on the knowledge of human anatomy, generate data with this type of drug being introduced, how would it react? And based on what you know in creating data, have you seen anything like that?
I have not, no.
That'd be interesting to see if we could get it to create actual data based on like human anatomy or something like that, on biology.
If you've watched any of the OpenAI stuff that they've come out since this has come out, they're talking about AI creating new thought patterns and new things which is more of a new evolutionary step when it comes to the research side, where it's coming up with new ideas based on this type of pattern where it's just able to look and figure things out. So who knows? It's all very interesting. But just wanted to let you know that is there. Now, operator is a whole different animal. So operator, you instead, if we went back to the same query on ice cream, and if we asked operator that, so now it's going to go and start a computer up, our little browser right here.
Oh, interesting.
And so volume of cubic light year in cubic meters. So as you can tell, it's just finding all these different ways now to use that and figure it out itself. It already has 2 different tabs open and whatever it is. Now 3rd tab now. At any point, I can take control and actually work on this virtual machine that they've spun up for me. But you could use this to figure out tickets for a trip and to pay for those tickets, to do research on the best products to buy. There's all kinds of different things, but it'll actually do stuff.
Is this part of the pro version?
It is also what you get 2 things. You get 3 things with Pro. You get unlimited Sora, unlimited operator, and 100 Pro or deep research questions a month. So that ice cream was one of my 100 questions.
It's an important one to know.
Yeah. So it's still thinking about this very deep question of ice cream.
Looks like we're getting close to the end of the time, and while this is calculating out our ice cream question, I will let the group know that Zions is looking for a development manager for ML models. If anybody knows anybody that's interested, it looks like they're looking for somebody with technical experience, several years of technical experience. But if somebody's interested and they have questions on Zions or something, you can have them reach out to me.
Hey, thanks, Clint. Appreciate that. Rob, that might be right down your alley.
Yeah, I've that's what I spend my day doing, is looking at jobs. So thank you.
Rob, do you know Clint?
I don't.
Would you be interested in looking into this?
I'm interested. I'm not turning down anything at this point, so I'm interested in everything.
So, you can contact me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to find. Or you will need to go through the application process on the Zions side. So you can go to Zions.com, go to careers. It's listed there with the job description and everything.
Okay. I will go check it out.
Thanks, Clint. Good to see you again, by the way.
Yeah, AI is coming back into my life in kind of a more serious way. So I figured I'd start coming back.
Nice.
Probably more of a comeback than my basketball team's doing, but
This is fascinating. It's still trucking, trying to figure this calorie question.
You'll have to let us know next week if it finishes by then.
Yeah, right? Who knows?
Bettina, just to answer your question, about 5.8 trillion miles in a light year.
5.8 trillion miles. Oh my
A little
goodness.
more than 5.8 trillion.
That's longer than I've driven in my car, just to let you know.
Just by a little bit, right?
This,
Yeah.
it's
So how
like
many
it's
light
blowing
years
up
is the moon from here? I don't know anything about how far different planets
There's
are.
way less than a light year.
Okay.
Have a trillion miles on it, so I've got a ways to go.
All right, you guys. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks
See
everyone for
y'all.
joining. Next
And then-
week we'll have a speaker on next week. Appreciate you joining today. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, Sean, I'll give you a call to confirm the speakers. And it looks like he just left. Okay. See you, everyone.
Thanks. See ya.
Mike, is this
Yes.
every week or every other week? Because I only have it on my calendar every other.
We have it every week. Every other week we have a speaker, and then like today on the other weeks we have either a demo or just talk about AI and things that we've ran into. But
Same Zoom?
same Zoom call, same thing every week.